Hey Katy, this is my eval here. Let's just start it off. We have history to begin with. The first question that I would ask within a hip eval would be if they've ever had a change in training, either surface or with their shoes. That could really affect however the hip works, up and down, left and right. Also, if the injury is acute or chronic, uh, especially if it's acute, it's probably just going to be a hip pointer or some kind of bursitis. But if it's chronic, which is more likely, then that's what we'll be testing for. Where that pain is, if it's more on the greater trochanter, if it's in the sacral crest or iliac crest region, or if it's in the sacrum. What level the pain is, 1 to 10, basic stuff. If they know of any congenital abnormalities that they have, that'd be really helpful. And if they've either abused steroids or alcohol, which could lead to avascular necrosis. So those are the 5 questions. The next would be observation. Um, you would want to look at hip angulation, if there's any discoloration in the area, especially for hip pointers. You would want to look for any swelling, for bursitis, angle of torsion within the hip. Leg length discrepancies could affect, they could be up in the kind of the rotational or the back and forth kind of idea. If they're anteverted or, if they have tibial torsion or anything like that. It depends exactly. Um, so.
Alright, so we're going to go on to range of motion now with my beautiful brother Weston. Wave to the camera, Weston. And so we'll do range of motion. Flexion would be about, let's see how far I can calm myself. That would be about 120 to 130 degrees. That's normal. And then extension. This would be about um, 10 to 20 degrees. So now we have adduction and abduction. So hip abduction out here. He's pretty flexible. It's about 45 degrees. And then adduction in here is about 30 degrees. So there we go. And then internal rotation would be about 15, 20 degrees, somewhere in there. And then, 50 degrees. And then external rotation is about 40 degrees. So you can see that. Alright, now we're going to do manual muscle tests. So this is for the iliopsoas. Externally rotate the foot. And you're going to press down on their thigh and have them hold it up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to do the external rotators. So you'll internally rotate the foot and give a lateral force, and they'll have to fight it. 1, 2, 3. Next would be the rectus femoris. So he's going to sit up on there, and I'll just have him extend his knee, and from there that'll just isolate the rectus femoris. So 1, 2, 3. There you go. Now we'll do hamstring muscles. So lay on your stomach, Noah. Oh, this is Noah, by the way. So now we'll do the hamstring muscles. So on the biceps femoris, he can't let me pull his foot down. You got that? Ready? 1, 2, 3. There you go. And now we'll do the glute muscles, which would be having him extend his hip and not letting me press down or not break that muscle. So let's see him, big boy. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he's pretty strong, I guess. Alright, turn it off, Mom. Alright, so now we're just going to do the palpation section. What I would do is I have Weston put his hands on his hips, so wherever they fall.
So alright, so this is kind of how it starts. Turn to your side here. You can put your hands down now. So right about here would be his ASIS, where his hands were. There you go. So right about here would be where his ASIS is. Over here, about the dimples, would be PSIS, right about here. You can kind of feel two little bumps there. If you have him lift up his leg, it'll shift a little bit so you can know exactly where they are. Up front, he has AIIS right here. And along with that, his inguinal ligament is right about here. Right here on the side, on the lateral portion of his leg, running down from about the greater trochanter down below his knee, he has his IT band. Back here, if you have him flex his hamstrings, flex your hamstrings, you can kind of feel the biceps femoris. Up front, he has rectus femoris, just the big honking one. Yep, he's flexing that one too. And that ASIS, AIS, PSIS, IT band, sartorius. Oh, he has his sartorius goes. It runs lateral to medial from about the iliac crest down to his Gerdy's tubercle. Along with that is just the iliac crest up here where his ASIS is. So that should be 10. Thank you. Alright, so here we have Faber's or Patrick's test. Basically it's worthless, but we gotta do it anyway. So he's going to be laying in a supine position, and I'm going to, in a figure 4 with his legs, I'm going to press down on his opposite ASIS and his medial portion of his knee. And if he feels any pain, that basically means that he has a hip pathology. So it tells us that his hip is hurt, right? The next is going to be Trendelenburg's test. So what he's going to do is put his hands on his hips and lift up one leg, just kind of lift it up. If his other side drops, then it means that he has a weak gluteus medius. And then the last test we're going to do with Weston here is Thomas test, where he just pulls his knee towards himself, and if his leg just extends with it, if his whole leg extends with it, that means he has rectus femoris tightness. But if his other leg comes up with it, it means he has iliopsoas tightness. But he's pretty flexible, so he's fine. So those are the 3 with Weston. Now we go to the stunning model Noah. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to do Eli's test. And so Noah's pretty flexible too. But if their hip comes up on the side that you're testing, you're basically just doing a rectus femoris stretch. And if this hip comes up off of the table, it means they have rectus femoris tightness. But Noah, he can go all the way to the ground, it seems like. The next one would be the hip scouring test, which is testing for either a labral tear or a OCD in the acetabular area. So that could either be with the femoral neck and head or just the acetabulum in general. So what you want to do is make sure you get down on their hip at a 90-degree angle and press down and kind of internally and externally rotate. If you feel a clicking or a locking, then it's probably a labral tear. If there's just pain, then it might just be OCD. You want to go at about 110 degrees, so you can kind of bring it in. Again, internally and externally rotate the hip, and then you want to go to about 45 degrees and do the same thing with internal and external rotation of the hip. And then the last test is the piriformis test. So basically what you're going to do is get them into about 60 degrees of knee flexion and then lift it up a little bit. And what you're going to do is just have them press up against you while you have your hand on their hip and the lateral portion of their knee. So just lift up, Noah, and if there's pain involved, it's basically just the manual muscle test of the piriformis. But if there's pain involved in this, then they have a piriformis injury. That's it.